Is there any doubt in your mind that your father, Roger White and Ed Chaffee, were murdered in a Cold War conspiracy?
Well, you know, I don't know who did it. I can tell you how they did it.
Okay.
I mean, they did it by circumnavigating the function of the switch, and that led to a fire inside the pressure vessel, which they unfortunately couldn't get out of.
But there's no doubt in your mind that NASA is covering something up, correct?
Oh, that's clear. That's very clear. And, you know, I've brought this issue up with James Sensenbrenner when he was the head of the science committee, and he contacted NASA, and I think they just kind of baloneyed him, and unfortunately he's moved on, and you know, he's the head of some other committee now. I'm not even sure who's the head of the science committee now.
All right, Scott, we're going to show a couple pictures of you, you handsome devil.
Oh boy.
Here's a picture of you with your hat on. You're holding, you probably remember this. I took these at the breakfast table this morning.
Yep.
I mean, I'm sorry, this summer in Houston. Here's a couple more pictures of you. Basically, now what is that book? There's a book, you have all these color photos. What is that? Just are those random photos, or those photos? These are all photos you took, correct?
The book that I showed you,
right,
have a few photos that I took, which I need to copyright those before I really kind of put those out. But
right,
the pictures that were in that book are actually NASA public, generated photos of my second trip in to look at the spacecraft. And I took Bill Moretti, who is a very well-known attorney. He did some of the Challenger, and I think maybe he's even representing some of the Columbia survivors, so to speak.
Right.
And I took an electrical expert with me to look at this MDC, the main display console panel number 8, which the S11 or the RCS roll switch is mounted in. And they both just said, that just doesn't work. I mean, anything that goes into that spacecraft has to have a part number. It's got an engineering drawing someplace. Everything in it is a professional piece. And when I showed them this extra bit of metal and where it went and how it worked, they were just horrified. But, unfortunately, there's not really anything you can do without the general public asking for more information.
What we're looking at now, this is just such a gripping picture, and it's such a period piece from the 60s. It's a picture of, I guess, John Glenn. I don't know if he was a major or a colonel by then. It's a picture of him walking with your father, and I believe that's your dad in the casket. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, that was.
What day? What year was that? That was '67, obviously. What day was that?
I'm going to say it was probably around the 1st of February.
Right, because is that Washington? Are you guys being marched to Arlington?
Yes, that's at Arlington.
And where were you when this picture was being taken?
My mom and brother and I, we had been escorted over to close to the burial site. We were sitting with my grandparents and Lyndon Baines Johnson,
right, a
few others.
How old were you, Scott?
I was 16.
You were 16 years old, so you remember this date?
Oh yes.
Right. Let's talk about, I'm going to bring up one of your favorite people, Max Airy. Let's talk about. I was talking about how the movie with Tom Wolfe took a lot of liberties with your father about how he basically in the movie he used a lot of expletives. He supposedly blew the hatch. And the Liberty 7 capsule, I love the story about when they found the Liberty capsule. For those people who don't know, the Liberty capsule was the capsule. Why don't you tell the people that are watching here in Southern California about the Liberty 7? Go ahead.
Okay, well, my father flew Liberty Bell in July of 1961. And at the completion of the flight, my father was actually kind of holding the recovery helicopters off a little bit while he recorded all of the switch positions and temperatures and various things that a test pilot's going to do to complete his project. And as he's completing his checklist and recording his switch positions, the hatch blows off of it, and the seawater starts to come in. And of course, my father, he got out immediately, and of course, he didn't want to lose it. One of the helicopters had already come in and had hooked on, and my father was actually trying to help in any way he could to retrieve it, but he kind of got blown away from the capsule with the rotor wash, and one of the helicopters developed a chip light, which is it's an impending gearbox failure, which is a very bad thing in a helicopter. Any kind of propeller, rotor wing device that has a gearbox problem is in serious trouble.
Right.
And to save themselves, they had to cut it loose, and of course the capsule sank in over 15,000 feet of water. And it stayed down there until, I guess, about 1990.
1990. What do we? Just a second, gentlemen. We have a couple minutes left.
Yeah.
We have about 2 minutes left. I've only got a couple minutes left, Scotty. I'm going to wrap this up. Just in a nutshell, you got about 2 minutes. Tell us in your heart what you want, what you're trying to accomplish, and what you feel needs to happen as far as these forgotten heroes.
Well, I mean, the first thing, the original goal was to make this a suitable memorial. I mean, Gettysburg is not exactly pretty. The Alamo is not exactly pretty. Pearl Harbor is not pretty. I mean, all these places cost a lot of very valuable American lives, and I feel that Apollo 1 certainly fits into that category. You know, their contribution did make it safe for 12 guys to walk on the moon and safely return, and I think they should certainly be recognized for that. That's my first thing. The second thing is that in light of what I've found and the information I have that backs it all up, is that NASA needs to be investigated and this fire needs to be reinvestigated. They clearly haven't told the truth here about very much, near as I can tell.
Well, listen, Scott, I want to thank you. We've got a. I know that you're having breakfast there in Houston, right? Are you at a Denny's?
I'm getting ready to go have lunch with a buddy.
Okay. I want to thank Scott Grissom for coming on air with us. We're here in Santa Monica. Thank you, Scotty. Have a great day.
Steve, thanks, and it's great to talk to the fine people of Los Angeles.
Thank you, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
All right,
bye-bye. Once again, Scott Grissom. This has been basically your story, Apollo 1, triple homicide. The 3 astronauts of Apollo 1 were murdered. We are trying to get a new investigation, and I want to appreciate your time. My name's Stephen Barber, and you can reach me at 310-899-1456. Thanks so much, and make it a great day.